Jason Garrett's not the one doing that. Makes perfect sense.
Speaking of culture, I think it's a good kind of segue into the next question. There was like some debate between the Cardone, cease and desist thing, and like more of a modern Gary Vee approach.
that one.
And I think some of that was misunderstood, but I see both.
I don't think it was misunderstood.
Well, I think there's two different lines. So you have like old school selling and new school selling, I guess.
And I love the whole like sell until they bleed, but I also just don't think it's as good of a sales tactic. I think it's short-term sales, right? Listen, I think anything can work. I think anything can work. I think there's a lot of ways to win. There's the hardcore Bill Parcells, like we're just going sports now today. Like, let's just, there's the hardcore discipline, XSO, Tom Coughlin. Nobody liked him. I know that team, the Giants teams, they didn't like him, and it worked. And then there's also the Pete Carroll, like it's motivation, Jim Harbaugh, it's motivational, it's rah-rah, and that works. Like clearly in life, everything has worked, right? Steve Jobs worked. That's not my style. I don't want to berate my people into their best work. I want to inspire them into their best work. So everything works. I would just say that, I think what, tripped me up in that exchange at Grant's Place was like, it felt like it was pushing even like fraud.
Sure.
Like lying is not a good sales tactic. And by the way, I come from a lying background. I'm being dead serious. When I was 13, 14, 15, people would come into the liquor store and I would make pretend, aka lie, that I had tasted that wine, or I would do whatever it took to sell. My dad saved my ass. My dad has zero tolerance for embellishment, let alone lying, and he suffocated and stripped out of me. This is where nature and nurture, right? My nature was, I think the reason I am who I am is because I was born to be the biggest showman bullshit of all time. Born to be it. And my father, I give my mother so much credit, my father sucked it out of me at an early enough stage that it became my truth. And so I have the pizzazz and ability to get you, but then I deliver on something more noble than, and that's why I think a lot of people viscerally when they first see me are like, right? Because I have it. And then it takes time to be like, oh, wait a minute, right?
Well, your point that I thought was so good was two things. One, having empathy. It was having empathy for your prospect, actually trying to add value versus clearly not caring about them, which probably not a great tactic nowadays. So as a cultural thing, I feel like that's something you want to build. It's having actual caring about who you're serving.
Empathy is the greatest pillar of sales.
It's number one, right?
It's number one.
Understand your prospect.
100%.
A lot of our clients are like middle America, big established companies, and it's not a lot of fun to go and be an SDR and make $150,000 a day. What tidbits of information would you give to the leaders of those teams and like connecting with those millennial sellers? First job out of college.
Yeah.
What do you do to
map
get
them one by one? You just don't know. I don't want to give general advice because general advice won't work. You just need to know Susan and Karen and Rick and Charlie's ROI. EQ. And then work. And then like hardcore work. Like what are they about? Like what do they want? Like not everybody's ambitious. Not everybody is materialistic. Some are very ambitious. Some are extremely materialistic. Some love coffee. Like maybe when they crush it, you buy them a coffee maker. I think one-on-one marketing works, and I think it works even better when you run an organization because you don't have that many employees. Like it doesn't take that much time when you have 27 salespeople to have 27 lunches, yet that seems so daunting to so many managers, and I laugh. I do that in 9 days. It'd be a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Done.
Yes, you're saying having a higher EQ towards your employees is very important right now than teaching them to have a higher EQ towards
Here's where people are not smart. One would argue if they're listening to me, be like, yeah, Gary, but my turnover is every 6 months to 9 months, and it's not worth the ROI. What they don't realize is when Patrick likes you because you were nice and you cared and you listened, and he goes and works for another company, or his brother from his fraternity hits him up on LinkedIn and says, what should I do? He says, you should go work for John. Mm-hmm. He was a great mentor for 9 months. Like, people don't get it. Yeah. People sell in the micro. The whole game's macro.
Absolutely. Customers too, right?
Like, I'm nice because it's practical and smart. Like, if you win behind what people say about you, you guys don't know me. Now this is going to be it. This is going to be your data point. What are you going to say? And be like, He was nice. He walked in, shook everybody's hand. I'm not shaking hand for shtick. I'm shaking hand because I like it. Like, it's just always who I've been. Like, I think people feel it when it's shtick. I feel it when it's shtick. And I just want to say hi. Like, what the fuck? Like, why not, right? So, like, I think that too many people think there's a blueprint. I'll tell you, I think actually, I'm glad I just went through this little scenario. If you're a son of a bitch and you don't want to say hi, but you're an assassin, I'd actually go all in on that. Like, trying to be like me is not going to help it because they're going to taste that you don't care. So if you don't care more. I'm actually being very blunt and honest here. I do believe on tripling down on your strengths. So you are going to be an unemotional drill sergeant. Your mother didn't love you, right? And so you're cold. It's awesome. Like, it sucks, but like, it's who you are. And listen, there's some real advantages, right?
Yeah.
For example, it took me 20 years of my career to get decent at giving critical feedback. I'm still not there. Maybe you're a cold-blooded son of a bitch and you give great critical feedback. And for a lot of people, that's the greatest ROI. I don't think I did well by a lot of people in early Wine Library and even probably early VaynerMedia. I got better. I knew I wanted to be better at it. My brother's good at it, so that helped me. But like, I think you have to understand what you're trying to achieve. And if you believe that the feedback you're giving is right and you believe you're bringing them, if there's a big difference between a person that's just mean because they're poison inside and they want you to feel bad too, versus the person who genuinely believes by giving it to you straight and the cold medicine, you'll get better.
Yep.
So for me, I genuinely believe, so a lot of people say, well, you make it too cushy and too easy, but I genuinely believe in my thesis. And I'm also willing to adjust, right? Like, I do a reorg 3 weeks ago and we fire 60 people. People think I've changed. I haven't changed. I've always told you what I'm up to. You're just looking at it at surface level.
Absolutely.
Other side of the coin, kind of building on that. So, one thing I love about you is you talk about, you know, having one at bat. You get one life. Like, make
Yes.
it real. A lot of people, you know, coming out of school, going to their first job, like, you know, another quote you have is like, people want to be, you know, promoted immediately. People want to move too fast. Like, what advice do you have to them, the millennial seller coming into the seat, to go out and kill it? Like, you obviously aren't going to be handed anything. What do you tell that person new in the job?
I want to have the real talk, right? Which is like, look, when people razz on you guys, they're wrong, right? They're wrong. When they're like, you're just a kid, millennial, blah, blah, they're wrong. But you're also wrong if you, and not just millennials, anybody, if you expect anything. Like, nobody gives a fuck that you were the captain of your lacrosse team. The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Right.
Like, you're at zero. Like, you're literally at zero. You're 22 years old and you're at zero. Listen, if you work for a winner, they don't care about your degree, your history, your mama's pedigree. They just don't. Right? Like, people tell me, like, oh, this. I'm like, dude, that would mean every number one pick in every single draft went on to become the best player of all time. I'm like, cool. I'm very glad that you were the head of your sorority, Susan, and that you've got real leadership skills. Mazel tov. Now go fucking sell a couple things. Show me. Like, so I think everybody's kind of right and everybody's kind of wrong, and this goes back to empathy. Understand why Sal at 47, who's seen the world of sales for last 20 plus years, thinks you're a little naive. And the great news is, if you're not, and you can sell more through Twitter while you're sipping pina coladas at Coachella, the best part about sales is, unlike a lot of other crafts, it's just black and white.
Yep.
So my advice for the kids, since you position it that way, is shut your fucking mouth and execute for 18 months and then stick it to everybody. That's what I did. I want to remind all the kids, I didn't say a fucking word to the world for the first fucking 10 years of my life.
You gotta do it first.
Put my head down, I built a liquor store. Then I came out and said, I built this business. That's a lot more fun. I have no interest in what you're gonna do. Everybody's gonna do. Every person I've ever met told me they're gonna.
That's kind of I know we're tight on time, but that's kind of a fantastic close, I think. But I think
Yeah.
Jeremy had one specific question
ahead,
for you.
Yeah, man. I'm very interested in asking about two things. Number one, can you give just a quick one-letter draft grade for the New York Jets?
F.
F, really?
Yes.
Didn't like all the SEC players the first 3 rounds.
This is the greatest safety draft of all time. Of all time. It is the deepest and best safety draft by everybody's point of view of all time. the Jets go out and spend their first 2 picks on safeties. There's zero chance, there's 0.1% chance that those 2 safeties are going to play out as the 2 of the 4 best safeties of this draft. Number 2, the NFL has become a fully offensive league. It's all about offense. And we went out and drafted defense, after being defensive heavy, after drafting 9 straight years of first-round defensive players, which is the longest streak in modern football history. So during the great boom of offense, we've decided to draft with the first choice in the first round 9 consecutive defensive players. Basically, the New York Jets are like the advertising agencies that I make fun of. Like right now, they're tripling down on television commercials, right? So that's bad. Next, I love Jamal Adams as a player. He looks like a real player. I believe that there's an 80% chance he'll be better than Malik Hooker. Here's the problem. Malik Hooker, if he's great, is Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu. He's a game-breaking player. I just hate it. I hate everything they did.
Well, silver lining, you're not a Bears fan at least, right?
Yeah, but I love what the Bears did.
Really?
Sure. I would rather draft a quarterback in the first 2 rounds until you have Bobby Glennon is not going to Bobby Glennon. That's all. What's his first name again? Mike Glennon. Bobby Glennon. Big shout out to you. Favorite media employee for the last 6 years. Mike Glennon is. By the way, I actually really like Mike Glennon. I wanted the Jets to get him until you guys grossly overpaid for him. But it's highly likely outside of like a Trent Dilfer. Like, by the way, Mike Glennon probably would have won a Super Bowl for the 09-10 Jets. That's how good their defense and running game and everything was besides the Sanchez part. So it happens. I saw it. We went to back-to-back AFC Championship games, and everybody thought I was crazy of how much I disliked Sanchez, but I watched every snap. I know what I'm talking about, right? It's like a sales team. If a company's rocking it, everybody thinks all the salespeople are good, but they're not. Like, B.J. Armstrong sucks. Like, Horace Grant is grossly overrated, and Scottie Pippen is the all-time most overrated player of all time. Of all time.
Interesting.
100%. Because that's what happens. Just what happens. So, anyway, not good.
Fair enough. Thank you. Awesome answer, man. And so, final question is Vayner Beta. Let's talk about that.
Beta.
Yeah, I love the concept. Can you explain to people what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're getting... Vayner Beta is just cleaning up something I've been doing stupidly, which is, I don't know, VaynerMedia gets 100 to 500 emails a week from small businesses that want to work with us, and we just keep saying no. And so after a while, I'm like, that's probably not a smart strategy. So Vayner Beta is us going back to kind of our roots and having a product that's $25,000 a month in fees to VaynerMedia, which it means that you also probably need another $10,000 or so in ad fees per month. So call it a $35,000 a month product that small businesses can sign up with us. And when I say small businesses, I mean by the world's definition of a small business, right? You probably have to do 4, 5, 6 million in revenue to begin to even consider working with us. But I'm really excited about it. We finally figured out, I think we have a real concept and strategy around creative output and paid advertising amplification to make a 6-store, car wash franchise work with us. Or back to your guys' world, I think we can crush it for SaaS products, right? If you're a SaaS business doing some real business, we can make one video that will help all your salespeople close far greater, far more often, doing the brand part on top of the paid part. So very excited about Vayner Beta. And we also launched something called 4Ds. Zappos and Disney do these tours and do these classes inside their companies and charge for it. So now we have a $10,000 consulting for the day. You come in for 10 hours, you meet all our disciplines. I come in occasionally and give a keynote. We bring other fancy people. So we're trying to find ways, for the first 4 or 5 classes, lost their mind on the value for $10,000. So that means we're onto something. So, and it's tough, right? I was like, is $10,000 worth it? For one day, But, we're trying to hack and find services that can feed the people that want to get more of what I do without being Toyota or Chase or Budweiser and paying $2 million a year.
Absolutely. Awesome service, man. Well, we're thrilled. This has been great, Joe. I'll let you.
No, this has been fantastic. Thank you for coming down.
Thanks for
It's good to see you.
Thanks
Chatting with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Gary. You the man.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate
it.
My pleasure. Thank you. All right,
Bolt
Nick.
too.
I love it. Because if Mitch is real,
You guys gonna
If
slide?
he is, I mean, hey,
If he's real, he's real.
it's a franchise quarterback.